A very good morning to everyone. It's a Friday. We have just had our morning tea break, so I hope everyone has freshened up. So what I'm going to share today is basically some very simple deployment on some cloud technology that my company has gone through. Okay, let's start off with my company profile. Diners World Travel, who are we? We are actually established in 1972, and that is about 40 years right now. That's a pretty long history. We are actually located still today where we started at Beach Road and until today. We actually are own subsidiaries of Diners Club Singapore. I'm sure some of you probably know or maybe host the Diners Club card. And our current company strength now is about 60 employees, typically SME size. We are basically a travel management company, and that means that we actually provide and manage travel policy for companies. So we plan their budgets, travel budgets, we plan the travel arrangement for each individual business travelers, and we provide them insights on their travel patterns. And we also have a small division that actually caters to outbound tours, incentive trips, something like the B2C kind of things like Chan Brothers offers, but we actually do it very targeted, focusing on corporate travelers who are going on a leisure trip and also corporate incentive trips. And companies typically, like what I mentioned, what are our IT challenges? First of all, lack of space. Okay, SMEs like us, we need to maximize space. And businesses like us, we are actually basically service-based. The more space I allocate to a consultant, it generates more revenue. Okay, the more space I have to cater for a data room, it will make my cost go up higher. The next thing, same thing, lack of manpower. Basically, the IT structure that we have now is that we only have one man supporting the IT infrastructure for the company, basically covering everything, support, strategizing, data security, things like that. So that's the challenge that we always have. We can't have a team, five, supporting the business that we have only total strength of 60. So, we rather recruit more travel consultants to increase our revenue rather than, building up. But that's something I think will also change over time because technology is pretty important right now. So another thing is high IT investment costs. You see, right now I think for us in the travel industry, it's fairly competitive. Pricing is very transparent. The kind of margin that we make, is quite razor thin in that aspect. So any IT investment that we have to consider actually has to be evaluated and it has to make business sense for us before we can implement and adopt it. So we look at costs very stringently and make sure that we actually have a fairly feasible way of getting the return on investment before we embark on it. And lastly, I think we also have a mobile workforce. We need to be able to deploy people anywhere, everywhere. And that's the challenge that we are having now. And with that, why are we going to cloud computing? First and foremost, I think some of the benefits have been very well documented. It's actually cost effective, because it allows you to be able to deploy something without committing a very upfront investment cost. Easy to set up, everything has been pre-set up by the provider. So if today we want to host something somewhere else, we just talk to the fellow, and once we sign the contract, it's ready to go. So that's that fast. And that's about faster deployment. And something that is always close to the SME heart is actually another piece of cash flow. You see, cash flow is very important to us. If I have to buy something and I have to pay upfront 100,000, I'll think maybe not twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. But if I can pay by installment, yeah, that's a pretty easy decision to make already, over 12 months or 24 months. So cloud computing, because of the nature that is subscription-based, it's easier to get management approval because it goes under operating budget, rather than capital expenditure. And you make your cash flow projection more predictable because now you know this is the amount monthly that I have to set aside for this kind of investment. And cloud computing offers some, in a sense, resilience and redundancy because the data centers that will offer the solutions, I think they have briefed up their capability in terms of backup facilities. They will have backup centers not only at the location they are on the main data center, but every other country. So in that aspect, for SME, it appeals to us. And in terms of business continuity plan, it also falls in place that when my office is down, for instance, even I have a backup server somewhere else, cloud computing can come in and play that role, of making sure that my data is still be able to be accessed even when my location is down. And lastly, it's easy to scale. When we go into projects, we will have the uncertainty of what kind of requirements we will have. We do not know the kind of specification. Although there will be preset, we will start off with something that we will probably know. But what if we want to build up, or increase the capability? So I think with cloud computing, then that actually allows that kind of flexibility. So with cloud, this is basically what the IT department is doing now. They actually have Cloud 9. Yeah. So what systems are on cloud for us? We actually have 2 systems that is on cloud. The first one, as you see, on the right is actually a ClickView application. It's a business intelligence tool. I'll cover it later more in detail. We actually deployed it in November 2010. And we started out with this first because it is actually for internal use only. So it's a management reporting tool. So as we go along and we experience cloud, we are more confident and we start migrating our email to cloud, using Microsoft Online. And that was done in April 2011. Okay. So today, basically, I'm going to cover is a case study that on the deployment of ClickView. Okay, what is ClickView? I'm not sure whether some of you have heard of it, but it's basically a business intelligence tool, and it allows us a capability to put in a massive amount of data. Because in travel company we have a lot of data. We have the pax name, passport, destinations, airlines, business class, ticket number. All these things are all stored in our central database. So we need a very powerful tool actually to actually analyze. So we saw ClickView and then we actually use it for our internal management analysis so that we can slice and dice information and to be able to understand our customers' trend, the traffic especially, and we are able to understand whether our sales are picking up, dropping, our accounts are going up. If so, if it's dropping, why is it so? And who is the consultants that issuing the ticket? Who's the account manager that's serving the accounts? So all this data is very important in the day-to-day management as well as during our strategic management to chart the plans, or to carve out new product offerings that we provide to our customers. And we need these two badly, and our consideration is the cost. Where we need to deploy, we need to buy a new server. And looking at that, the data room that have been allocated, if we keep on adding on servers, I think we have to, half the office space will be really have to cater for IT. But that's not going to happen, and we thought about cloud, and looking at cloud and looking through the benefits that I just explained, so it makes more sense for us to actually host this tool, the server, in a cloud environment. And with that, it actually gives us the mobility to actually able to access the application for a web-based kind of environment, and that's the solution. Okay, sorry. So we actually deploy the business intelligence tool QuickView at the cloud, signing up with Singtel Power On Compute Alerting for the package. And it was a pretty fast deployment. We have a 1-week testing with the server to make sure that it's been set up properly. And we work with our QuickView vendor and to set it up in the cloud environment. It was actually a very first, it was kind of, the QuickView vendor also was taken aback, this is the first time they're doing it. And they say, why not, let's try it out, And we had it up and ready within 2 weeks. And with that, we are able to actually run the data, basically churning out the daily sales report, the management review, and my account managers are able to access the data everywhere with a internet web access. Yeah, so basically they can be connected to our desktop PC, desktop office, with iPad and with iPhone. So with that, this is what happens to my staff. They practically can work anywhere, not only at home, somebody else home as well. And besides the point of all the benefits, I think the government is actually pushing a lot in terms of trying to get SMEs or companies to adopt cloud computing and technologies and anything that actually helps to increase productivity. So, as I think mentioned by Dr. Lee early on, I think we have this productivity innovation credit. Yeah, I mean the 400 tax deductions actually convert to a dollar value instead. For every dollar value that you spend on cloud computing, you're actually getting back about 68 cents. So practically you're being subsidized by 68% of your investment. That's very great. And besides that, I'm sure IDA have a lot of industry-specific schemes promoting the adoption of SaaS. I just attended, as I shared with Dr. Lee just now, with an SDV program that is a call for collaboration kind of initiative targeting now even to the travel industry to come up, something that we can use for cloud computing as an industry specific. Also, I think covered during earlier session by Mr. KK, security concerns. I think it's about finding the right partner. You got to evaluate who are you going to host your data with. Right, so if you are very concerned, you have to go through the process of making sure that vendor has a good track record, and that is a way of managing the risk in terms of security concerns. And for us, we always think that the third party actually has no interest in our data. Okay, they have to make sure that the security must work for cloud computing to work. If not, so that's why we have a certain level of confidence in them and the technology. So this is the joke about cloud computing. So I have some real concerns about cloud security, or in-house, or compared to in-house, but the guy is actually something working on it, stealing the data from the in-house. Okay, this is a quote from a famous person. So it's stating that it's not the strongest of species that survives, not the most intelligent, it's the one that embraces or most adaptable to changes. So, who's this famous guy? You want to make a guess?
Darwin?
Yeah. Charles Darwin. Yeah. So I just bring out this quote so that I think the landscape is changing. 10 years ago, you talk about internet or online booking for travel. Nobody does it work? No human touch, but it's happening everywhere now. And right now, the trend even for travel is about mobile, mobile access and mobile booking instead of just online. So I think cloud itself is also coming from that stage. I think with the kind of support from the government, the kind of protection in terms of data to address all the security concerns, I think the adoption for cloud will go up tremendously, and that's the way to go, I think, for a lot of companies, especially SMEs. Yeah. So this is the face of Mr. Charles. And this is a quote. So, shall I sum up what I just mentioned? I think the technology race is never ending. We have to constantly be a step ahead, purchase the latest equipment, the best software in the rapidly evolving market. So, cloud-based model will give us a complete understanding our service cost effectively with less risk. And this is very true in my experience with travel industry. I think basically previously travel industry is that as a travel agent, our duty is just to issue a ticket, make sure the travelers board the plane, goes to the right destination. But in today's context, we are coming back with customers. I want a report. I want to know who travels to where, and that is the request coming in. And from then on, now I want to know how do I save, on my traveling budget, on my traveling plan, my people who are traveling. This is the trend. How do I save? Alternative airlines can tell me why they are not choosing that. To give them the potential training, the saving as well. And I think very soon we come to the stage whereby they will need to be able to analyze the data on their own, and that's where we set off. So for SME to invest a lot in technology, it doesn't make a lot of sense for us, because that will actually kill us off in terms of being able to compete with the bigger boys. But I think with cloud, it now put us in a better position to compete. So, and that's what I meant by doing this. And this quote is actually coming none other than myself. Okay. And this will happen now when everyone's on cloud. It is just a joke to close it. This is what our friends up there are complaining. Yeah. Okay, I think with that, let's sum up my experience sharing.